Tonight I'll be turning foraged oyster mushrooms into Alfredo sauce and serve it over linguine, but of course if you don't have foraged mushrooms, you can use any store-bought mushrooms as well. Here we are with today's loot. Those are beautiful oysters. Look how big. Good shape. Some are borderline, like this big one back there. I'll just clean it up. If it's not cleanable, it goes away. Then we have some heritium. I will cook them up some other day, maybe tomorrow as steaks. But today we'll make linguine with Alfredo sauce and crisp oysters in it. They cleaned up nicely with not too much waste. And yes, against all advice, I do rinse them off if necessary, like on those big ones to get stuff out of the folds. I think I'll leave this aside, cut strips, and make sushi with it tomorrow. So they are good to go. All I do is I tear them up in slivers because they'll saute up nicely. And then here I have the big ones that I will saute up or cook up maybe for sushi. This should be great, interesting sushi. And because I can't waste anything, I kept the stem parts too. I just cut them out and they just go in the frying pan first then so that they are well cooked as well. And now we need to get to the other ingredients and start to putting this together. We're all set. The water is heating up. I got the biggest cast iron pan out. And what I do first is fry up those, or saute up to a crisp, the mushrooms. I will not use the butter for this. I will use the avocado oil, but I don't want them to burn, the butter to burn, but I use the butter later on to make the sauce. Then we got a whole bunch of shredded Parmesan, some garlic that has been frozen. I chop it and freeze, fresh parsley, and some milk in the back. It's heating up. I'll put the stems in first. I want them to get a head start because they're denser. And because the goal is to have the mushrooms at a gentle crisp. The noodles are already kind of soft, so it would be nice to have at least a little bit of a crunch from the mushrooms. Okay, they have a head start. See how noisy they are? That's all the moisture in there. Now we'll add the rest. And at this point I will salt them right away because I want the moisture to come out so they get the salt now. We're getting there. It still has a lot of liquid though, and as soon as the liquid's gone, that's when they start to kind of fry up, saute up nicely. So just takes patience. Oyster mushrooms tend to be very liquid. Now you can make this with any mushroom. You can use chanterelles, or you can use the button mushrooms from the store, or the portobellos. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be delicious and good. All the water is gone, and these guys are starting to get a little bit of a crisp. You can also hear it. They're browning up ever so gently on some parts. The pasta is coming along, and the minute they are where I want them is when I add the garlic, because the garlic only takes a little bit. I don't want it burnt, and I still want it to where it's fragrant and tasty. They are where I want them. I dump in the garlic. Well, I put in the garlic. I will mix this up so it gets fried up just a little bit. This is when the flavor explodes. You know, when you eat mostly chanterelles over summer and then you have the oysters in winter, they look awful bland compared to the chanterelles. Nonetheless, they're still good. So see, there's a little garlic blob. I'll just leave this in there for maybe a minute or two, so it's just so that it isn't raw anymore. And then I add the butter, a lot of butter. This isn't a low-calorie meal, obviously. I'll just let this melt in there. All melted in, doing fine. I'm going to put ground pepper in there. And then some milk. This is going to hiss, so it's be loud. Now, you can use cream, but I think milk works too. It's already a pretty fatty recipe. So once this heats through, we'll dump in all the Parmesan at once. And now it just needs to get to the temperature that Parmesan melts, that has a higher melt point than most other cheeses. And we're good to go. We can add the noodles. So I'm shutting off the temperature now, the gas, the whatever. This has kind of thickened up. You can either cook it in or add some more cheese if it's too thin, or you can put some cornstarch in it. And now I'll get the noodles out and I'll put them right in there. We're probably not going to use the whole pound. I'd rather have more sauce than more noodles. And we'll just whisk this around. Oh my. And of course we cannot forget about the parsley. Mushrooms and parsley are a match made in heaven. And here it is. Oyster mushrooms, Alfredo sauce, and a side salad. This is going to be good. Thanks for watching.